Welcome to Profiles in Eccentricity, a show about weirdos. With your hosts, John Fahey, Aaron Peter, and Matt Brousseau.
Hello, folks. Welcome to Profiles in Eccentricity. It's a show about weirdos, doggone it. My name is John Fahey. Joining me as ever, prettiest boy under the sun, the be-all, end-all, Ken-doll. Cyborg, the human Sibian. 3 kids in a trench coat, stacked on top of one another, each of them shredded, ripped, muscular, with huge cocks. 2 of them openly gay, 1 bi.
The cocks?
Yeah, the kids are straight as an arrow.
The cock's a little crooked.
My friend, a man I love, Aaron Joseph Pita.
I'm here. You're queer. Get used to it.
Everybody, please.
Please. Hey.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm great, man.
Great. Matt?
I'm doing all right.
Is that his introduction?
I'm bad at them. You said it. So I stopped trying.
To your right, my left, beautiful co-host of the show, Mr. Matt Brousseau.
Hi.
How are you, you gorgeous man?
I am quite well.
You hot as fuck, man.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh,
Yeah.
We've been having some great times. We got episode 100 coming up. We have recorded 2 segments for that show. Both of them are heaters.
Oh, yeah.
Aaron.
Yeah. They're
2 of our
almost as hot as Matt.
I mean, I think they could even surpass Mass's.
What? Trevor Manmat?
Yeah. Trevor Man Mac. Trevor Man Mac himself.
No, Trevor Manmat.
I enjoy a little man mac from time to time as well.
Within this black pack rules, of course. We have the Patreon, Aaron, as you know, just killing it over there.
Of course.
Oh my God, you get the previews on here sometimes.
Come on. Do you...
Ooze it or goose it.
Such a fun episode.
You know, the Boggs episode.
People are loving the Bogs.
Oh God, they love it.
It's truly eccentric.
$5 a month, extra show per week.
It's $5.
You can't beat it.
I mean, you get your Disney Plus for $7, and what do you get? Just everything Disney,
Yeah.
Marvel, Star Wars, National Geographic, or ESPN has ever done.
Yeah.
For $5,
$2 less.
you can
3?
hear us.
Yeah.
And, we've got 100 episodes. So.
Yeah, once a week. And we say, probably nastier, weirder shit.
And we talk
on the
about a
Patreon.
lot of their stuff.
Yeah, we
So-
talk. Yeah.
I think we're a perfect companion.
It's better.
I think we're a perfect companion membership to Disney Plus. In
Yeah.
fact.
Agreed, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, rather, they're a perfect companion to us.
I agree. I definitely agree.
We're the
How
they're-
about...
They're the plus.
Yeah. I mean, we're the Disney, they're the plus.
That's right.
How about on the Instagram? You like that shit?
I like our Instagram. I wish we had more followers
How are we going to do that?
by fucking shaming our listeners into following us because it's free.
And filleting them.
I will
Shame.
fillet.
Filleted.
What's
Fillet.
another one? Fillet.
I'll fillet them, I'll fillet them. I don't
Flagellate.
care. Flagellate.
Masturbate. Chatterbait. I'll chatterbait you.
These all sound great.
I'll do whatever it takes.
Hey,
Whatever it takes. That's what we're doing. Get on to the
Avengers
Instagram.
Endgame on Disney Plus now. Disney Plus perfect companion subscription to Profiles in Eccentricity.
That's exactly right. That's very, very true, Aaron. We have the PP podcast on Twitter. You got to get involved with that.
Loving it.
I am someone, a very nice listener. I'm going to look it up. They just they sent us on Twitter their Spotify top list of the year. It was Profiles.
Was it
Hey,
really?
oh, because it does that thing
They
like,
do
hey,
that.
look at what you listen to.
Hey, look what you listened to. It was these creepy pee weirdos.
Thank you, Jenna.
Thank you, Jenna.
Thank you, Jenna.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jenna.
A lot of, we have been getting quite a bit of interaction on the Instagram.
Quite
People send us messages all the time, mostly good.
highly, highly enjoyable.
I love them. Talked about some of the finer aspects of pee with one
Yes.
of our friends.
Yes. People drinking it, I believe. Is that right?
Yeah, and
Swallowing it.
loving
Yeah. Loving it.
it.
And loving it.
Dracula. drinking pee and loving it. What else did we talk about? All sorts of weird shit. People doing stuff to their buttholes and all that stuff.
Hey, it's important.
Oh, dear God. Putting the stamp down?
Putting drugs up their butts.
Oh, yeah. A lot of people are putting drugs up their
boofing.
butts. They're telling us about it.
It's best.
Well, yeah, I guess that's the spot to do it. That's,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty exciting.
Good luck out there.
Yeah.
People we don't know putting drugs up their butts.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. Shit.
My butt rather over.
Probably
from all that lake titty. You guys will get that after Christmas.
Yeah, well, no, you got to listen to the Patreon. That was a Patreon, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I think that was a Patreon.
It was,
Well, if you want to get the lake titty caca joke.
Yeah, if you want to hear the really stupid thing where Joe K came back and did a guest episode on Patreon.
Oh, that was such a fun episode.
While he recorded his segment for the 100th episode. Yeah, we got that was a really fucking dumb episode. We said a lot of dumb shit in that one.
Oh, yeah. We had a couple of tirades.
I think Ashley was quoting it to the Patreon. Did you see that?
Yeah, that's right.
Thank you.
What was it?
I got to keep my cock ring on to say stupid. That was one of them.
Yeah, because it's hard. Another way it's hard to pee is when you have a cock ring on.
Yeah, it's a mess.
There was a lot of stuff about
pee.
tit fisting with
tit fisting with nibble cocks.
It's very stupid
stuff like that.
It's really, really dumb stuff.
Well, yeah, that's kind of what we're.
That's kind of our
about
thing,
here.
I guess. Yeah. John, you got a bunch of cards here. What's this all about?
Are you studying for vocab?
These are called index cards.
Oh, what's the index?
I wanted to tell you about a young gentleman born in 1890 in Brooklyn, New York.
Oh, I love these.
He was born Stanley Jacob Weinberg. Brooklyn, New York.
Sounds Irish.
Yeah. He wanted to be a doctor growing up. Parents could not afford it. Tragic, right?
What did he do?
He didn't become a doctor.
No.
I'll tell you that. He went to work just doing kind of like menial, shitty jobs. You know how you do when you're a poor. Right? But he is a bright sort of lad, and he wants to live the lives of the privileged. So he becomes an imposter.
Ah, yeah.
And the first time he was an imposter was in 1910, so he's a mere 20 years old. And he poses as the consul representative to the Port du Auber in Morocco, which does not exist. There is no Port du Auber. And
that's Morocco for you.
He starts going to a bunch of fancy New York City restaurants and telling them, like, yeah, I'm the new diplomat from Port du Auber, and he's telling the press. And
the press?
Yeah.
The only people who look stuff up.
The press. And they look it up. And
how times have changed.
Yeah. It is not good for him. Yeah, he goes to.
Does he lose his job?
Well,
has the consul? Did the consul find out that he lied about their existence?
He goes to prison, and it's one of these things where I guess like impersonation is kind of like in the day appropriately, in my opinion. The penalty for it is not too harsh because
it's pretty fun,
but also like
low stakes.
You should also know this guy's not from. It's kind of like shame on,
but also because
shame on you. You know what I mean?
Like you kind of can't know unless you know a lot of shit.
Right.
That it's also like it's kind of harmless, I guess. Right.
Well, and like you know, how you gonna fault the fucking concierge at the Ritz-Carlton, New York, for not knowing that there's no consul of Port du Auber when he doesn't have a fucking iPhone?
Right, and not only that, that's what I'm saying, like so much of what these scams work for is the idea that you're mainly talking to people beneath you in status, right? Alleged status,
right? When actually you're probably closer to each other. Yeah.
So if I'm the fucking fraudulent consul from Morocco and I'm trying to get into a party here in LA, and there's a guy at the door, does he get in more trouble from not letting somebody that should be in, or letting in somebody that should not?
Right.
It's obviously holding up the person that should be in there.
Right.
That's the actual danger. That's why you get all this access.
Yeah.
And shit goes by, right? But he still doesn't get away with it because he makes too much of a show of it, right? Between 1910 and 1915, he claims to be an investigator for the mayor of New York, William Gaynor.
An investigator for the mayor.
For the mayor. The mayor hears about it and writes him and tells him to knock it off.
He writes right.
The mayor writes to him specifically. He's like, do not do this. You stop it. Stop.
You must cease at once.
He also claims to be a bombardier in the Balkan War and says he was awarded a medal by the Turkish Sultan whom he was bombing in that war.
He was so good at fighting the Sultan.
The Sultan was like, man, I gotta tip my hat to this
bombs
guy.
Dropped on my civilians.
Completely insane, right? 1915, he's released from prison for the second time for these numerous fraudulent identification thefts, I guess. Mm-hmm. He then goes on to become Lieutenant Commander Ethan Allen Weinberg.
Ethan Allen.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And he is the Consul General from Romania. He goes on board in a brilliantly blue outfit with like a very elegant cap with a gold braid
feather
coming from it.
Okay.
Oh, like a fez?
On board, on board the USS Wyoming. And he gives what the captain of the ship says is a hell of an inspection.
Oh, I bet he does.
Of the ship. Never served a day in the military. He gives this inspection where he goes, you got to do this and you got to do that. And he's like showing everybody around, but he's also like having a great time with everybody. And then at the end, he invites them all to the hotel, Astor Hotel, for dinner. And in the midst of this, the Bureau of Investigation, not yet the FBI, is alerted to his presence, and they have agents come and suss him out and pick him up, and he is supposedly famously to have said, could you not have arrested me before or after dessert?
Yes.
Right.
Guys, my ride is here. Friends.
He gets 1 year in jail for that stunt.
So, wait, how long was he in jail for the earlier one?
That's another year.
Oh, okay.
Right? There's like 1 or 2 year increments for all of these sentences. And it's just like, it's kind of harmless. You know, it's kind of just being a pain in the ass, right? But also, I feel like it's, even if you do it over and over again, it is one of those things where it's like, get your shit together and don't have a random person be able to show up and act like... He got a 21-gun salute when he came to inspect that ship.
Well, I mean, they didn't have that many bullets on board either, you know?
21-gun salute for this guy that just, like, had access to a phone or whatever and was, like, told, like...
He dressed right.
Yeah, I mean, he appeared Romanian to them.
He dressed very much the part, and that was kind of, like... a part of his gig, like throughout the whole thing.
His dressing right. Well, there's a study I saw recently where if you wear an outfit, you are much more likely to be perceived as an authority figure.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So if you even to yourself,
sure,
not even to other people too,
just for the job you want.
Yeah.
Right.
Not the job you have.
The con goes every way.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he was convincing himself. And also convincing other people.
Yeah.
Right, like if you run around the house wearing pajamas.
Yeah.
Well, you're a pajama person.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Get dressed.
Okay.
Put pants and shoes on.
Yeah.
You know, you might need to run away somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Might need to answer the door.
Definitely.
Might need a karate chop.
Uh-huh.
Or some shit.
Right.
Be prepared.
You should.
And, you know, dress for the job you want, not for the job you have.
Yes, I agree.
You got to put your bat suit on.
Yeah. You do. You got to have a bat suit, dude.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm not going to apologize for that.
Don't. No, you're totally right. I do agree. I think you got to be on the ball in that regard, because there was that thing where like I was like a 19-year-old like working for FedEx, and I know that like I looked like a FedEx guy. Mm-hmm. Had I worn my regular 19-year-old clothes,
they would have been like, "Get the fuck away from these boxes."
Imagine me in like the third floor of the Bank of America building.
Right.
They'd be like, what?" And like then I show up like in just like a ridiculous FedEx short shorts.
Right.
You know, farmer tan, like half sleeve, like, you know, like the like.
Did you wear that stuff?
Oh yeah.
Did you the short white shorts? Were
no,
white?
they weren't like
blue.
They were.
The
They
FedEx
were.
blue.
Yeah, what
They
color
were.
is
They
it,
were
blue?
blue. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, like
Yeah.
like a softball umpire.
Yeah, it was pretty hot.
That's polyester.
Yeah. You want to imagine that for a while?
I've been thinking about it since the day I met.
You tan your legs a little bit in the Florida sun there?
Well, because you have that door open on your left side.
Oh, yeah.
Your left side
It's not the
gets,
trucker's tan, it's the-
It's not just a full farmer's tan.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like it's a UPS FedEx tan.
Well, because the truckers
specifically.
get the left arm, but you
Yeah.
also got the leg, too.
Yeah, because the whole thing's open,
What a
right?
mess.
Nice.
Disgusting.
No.
Two-leg.
Thank you, Aaron. He takes the mantle of Royal Saint Cyr, a lieutenant in the British Army Air Corps, and
Wait, Air Corps? What year is this?
This is 1917.
Okay.
This is the outbreak of the First World War.
Good move.
He is arrested when he was on an inspection tour of the Brooklyn Armory after a suspicious military tailor alerted the police. So the tailor was just like, "Oh, there's something not right about this frivolous outfit
Yeah,
this
the
idiot's
threads are
wearing."
off.
The inseam's all fucked up.
Yeah, you could just tell, like, "Oh, this guy."
Why is he doing inspections? He could get free drinks somewhere, couldn't he?
Well, here's part of the thing with the gentleman that will come to be known eventually. After all of his aliases, he'll come to be known most commonly as Stanley Clifford Weyman. He's born Stephen Jacob Weinberg. Stanley Clifford Weyman is his eventual nom de guerre.
He's been in a lot of wars, too.
Forever, right?
Yeah.
The thing with him that's so fascinating to me is that this guy was never really doing it for anything but the juice.
Which for him is the action.
Mm-hmm.
So it's never about money. It really is about just inhabiting another life.
Nice.
And if he feels like he's completed a mission, then he will just retire that life and then create another one.
So there's no... The winning is just... Everything stops.
Getting away with it.
Yeah.
It's just getting away with it. That's it.
Does he want to get caught?
I don't think so. I mean, that's deep psychology. It's hard to say,
Sure,
right?
That's what I would say.
And so, 1920, he's Wayman's paroled. He forges credentials to become a doctor in Lima, Peru, which he does for
He cured 385 people of their ailments.
he does that.
He's really deep on it.
He does that. He throws a bunch of huge parties until his credit runs out, and then he's arrested. Right?
I mean, as long as he's doing good, it's not a big deal,
No
right?
harm.
Yeah.
Another one of his arrests. But then he gets word of this Princess Fatima from Afghanistan. And Princess Fatima is like kind of like
Hot?
almost a charlatan herself, where she's like not really representative of the government of Afghanistan, but is just kind of like trying to float in these circles.
Cool.
And she is trying to meet President William G. Harding at the time. And
It's the movie Dirty Rotten Scoundrels.
yeah, and she is ignored
Great
by the,
movie.
she's ignored by the State Department, and certainly not, not the fucking president, whatever, right? And he just sees this in the paper, and he's just like at home, no disguise at the time, living his real life, depressed, and he's just like, I'll take care of this. Swoops in as U.S. Naval Liaison Officer with the State Department, and he meets her, and he pledges to arrange a liaison with the president to the Princess Fatima with her 3 sons. And she has like a huge diamond, and she says like, I want to meet this handsome president and stuff. And he gets her to give him $10,000 for gifts to bribe and grease the wheels of government. And then he takes that money and he gets her like a royal carriage like to Washington, D.C., and then gets her like an elite suite at the Willard Hotel. And he goes to the State Department and starts name dropping a bunch of like senators that are movers and shakers at the time. And he's like, he doesn't know how like protocol works or anything, but he just says kind of the right shit. Yeah. And he gets her a meeting with the Secretary of State. And then On the 26th of July, he gets her a meeting with Warren G. Harding, the president of the United States.
Oh my God.
And like he's like taking pictures on the White House lawn with like all of her delegation from Afghanistan and shit like that. And like it's touchy because like the Brits are kind of like, hey, Afghanistan is like still under our authority.
It's our hellhole.
We don't want you like acknowledging them. What are you doing?
Right.
And so after he gets her into the White House, he just goes back to Brooklyn. He's like, all right, that's done.
Was he having sex with her?
I don't know. I don't think so. If he was,
The game was the sex.
That's the juice. Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I don't think it was like the hottest game in town.
So
She's a princess, bro.
in order to catch her, he pretended to be a U.S. ambassador.
Yes, the naval liaison officer between the
naval
State
liaison.
Department was enough to keep nobody asking questions.
Well, Afghanistan,
because if you're in the
famous Navy,
you
yeah.
assume it's a State Department appointment. If you're in the State Department, you assume it's the Navy.
And if you're a princess, you think he's the head seaman in charge.
So it was just the perfect kind of thing where it was like, oh, this guy knows both.
Okay.
Why don't I ask him?
So he was doing he was using the same line for the U.S. officials too.
Oh, yeah.
Not just her.
Yes.
That's great.
Yeah.
Nobody made a phone call.
I mean, there's it's hard to find a phone back then, and it's going to take you 10 minutes to dial.
No, you just say operator.
Oh, that's right. You're right.
Right, and also
You don't have to dial.
But
You're
I
right.
mean, you know, like
it's even quicker.
the conviction of just saying I am who I am.
Yeah.
You know the power of that.
Exactly.
Of course.
And it was working for all of them. But it was one of these things too where like the con artist was conned by somebody else because she clearly was kind of a con artist herself. But he did it for no goal other than getting it done.
Yeah, it's to prove that he could do it.
Then he just like went home and like was like, all right, that's finish that. Mission accomplished.
It's like that movie where they're like, I know you've been retired 10 years, but you're the goddamn best. Yeah. We need you for this.
One last job.
One last job.
So they're basically like, what the fuck happened here? The British are mad about us indulging in this Afghani delegation. And they're like, it's this guy fucking Weyman or whatever. And then he's back in Brooklyn. And so the State Department just throws it at the Justice Department, which then is like, go get this asshole. And they find him and he goes to jail for another couple of years.
Oh.
And it's just for the juice.
He's got to be so comfortable when he goes back, though.
Yeah, it's to come out reinvented.
Yeah.
I got some character work coming.
Yeah, I
meaning to do.
I got 2 years.
It's so hard to concentrate out there in the free world.
Now,
and I'm here.
He
my
never
cousin
like
Vinny.
he'll willing to dress frivolously to act the part, right? He's never changing his face, right? And now we're like in the 1920s, etc. Gets out of jail.
All these World War I veterans with their masks.
Silent film actor Rudolph Valentino dies.
Okay.
No one knows what he sounds like.
His widow is a woman named Pola Negri, an actor herself.
I think I've heard this name.
And he attaches himself to her as her physician. And he's orchestrating almost because she's so bereaved and distraught that he's organizing the entire funeral for Rudolph Valentino.
Is it a silent funeral?
This silent film actor who he kind of looks a little bit like, weirdly. And he's just staying super close to her, giving reports on like her health condition. He organizes within Rudolph Valentino's home a faith healing center.
Center.
And then
to heal your faith or to be healed by it?
people recognize him being all over the TV and they're like, that's that fucking guy from the fucking Navy Yard. That fucking asshole.
It's not the TV, it's the newspaper, right?
Yeah, yeah. And they're like,
That guy on the newspaper on the wall.
they're like,
Flip it faster.
They're like, that shithead. So like, because he never changes his face.
No.
And she is so in love with him that she never presses charges when she finds out he's a total quack.
That's amazing.
And she wrote to the AMA saying he was the best doctor she ever had.
Yeah, he
What?
He didn't put no cardboard rolls up me or nothing.
She was like,
Carl Tanzler.
she was like, this guy is the best. I'm not mad. I'm not pressing charges. So like
It's the faith.
He just didn't go to jail for that one.
It's faith healing is the perfect thing, medium for him to get into there.
Yeah.
Because
it works based,
Yeah, based on whatever you want.
Yeah, and if it doesn't work, you're not praying hard enough.
Yeah, exactly.
So after that incident, right, now it's the thing where now you're the famously 2-time caught guy, right, at bare minimum.
Mm-hmm.
So throughout the 1930s, Great Depression, etc., he can't really get too many jobs off, right? And he's kind of like, a little bit fucked. He's kind of go back to like his menial jobs and shit. World War II breaks out.
God damn it.
He opens up a school for draft dodgers.
Like to learn how to dodge the draft, or like, hey, did you dodge a draft, but also have
You want to learn electricity?
To learn how to dodge the draft.
No.
You want to know how, Aaron?
He shoots him in the leg.
I do.
He teaches them how to act retarded.
Yeah, we were just talking about this.
Or deaf. So he's teaching these guys to act.
Well, he was a silent film star.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
He's teaching these guys to act either straight up mentally handicapped or deaf.
God. Oh my God.
If they are not good enough actors, he will just puncture your eardrum.
Oh, so you don't have to act.
He will make you deaf.
He'll make you deaf.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
What was the school called? Ooh.
I don't know, but he got caught for that and went to jail for a bunch of years.
A minute, yeah.
Yeah, a bunch of years.
Just how did he advertise that?
You
That's
You
gotta
play
be
deaf like a retard.
That's gotta be
Get over there with the second group.
That's gotta be just word of mouth.
Yeah. It can't be word of mouth.
Yeah,
it's gotta be word of hand.
never happened.
Yeah.
It's gotta be
It's gotta be word of hand.
This guy that showed me how to be retarded.
He's the best, believe me.
What did you say? I actually, I couldn't hear. I wasn't that good. I couldn't hear you. I can't hear you now.
So he has this one thing where he's trying to be a journalist at the UN, right?
Wait, what?
He fakes his credentials to be a journalist at the UN. It's again, he has this maxim at the end of his life where he says, one man's life is a boring thing.
25
I lived many lives. I'm never bored. So like that is where this guy is coming from.
Yeah.
Sure. And it's also total chaos if anyone follows his idiom.
So journalist at the UN might be less than a diplomat from Morocco, but he's just like, that's just what I am now, right?
This diplomat, he's a journalist. Wow, this guy's...
He becomes friendly with the Vermont State Senator Warren Austin and a delegate from Russia, Andrei Gromyko. And they invite him to be... the Thai delegation invites him to be a full press officer with full diplomatic credits.
This guy can talk.
He checks into the State Department to see if it would affect his U.S. citizenship taking that role, and they realize he's a total fraud.
He checks in.
This might bump me into a whole new tax bracket. Like, I'm just wondering.
Is this going to butt fuck me later or right now as I ask you this question?
Am I butt fucking myself, dude?
And everybody is just like, oh, what a shame. Like, because they're like, man, I wish I had anybody that was, able to fulfill this job, right?
Right.
1954, he tries to get a home improvement loan of $5,000 for a house that doesn't exist.
Naturally.
He fails to convince the judge he's insane. Goes to jail again.
That's got to be really embarrassing if you can't convince a judge you're insane.
And so now he just is fucked, and he has to go back to the exact same layman shit he started when he couldn't afford to be a doctor. And he's working as a night porter in a hotel, right? And a robbery goes down. And he tries to intervene in the robbery and gets shot to death.
Oh.
Wait, what year is this?
1960. He's 70 years old.
Shit.
And one of the cops is like, I knew this guy. I know his whole past. In this instance, he was totally being brave.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he was pretty brave in the other ones.
Everything else he did was brave.
Yeah.
He's totally being a good guy.
Today I'm a savior.
You know, I know he died for us and saved our lives in the process, but I couldn't help but feeling he was faking it.
What was the hotel called?
I gotta look that up.
Because it reminded me of there's a Woody Guthrie song called the Hot Rod Hotel, where it's just the next night the porter goes in, it's just a pile of blood everywhere. But it's 60s. Woody's not right at that point.
Yeah, the main thing about this guy that's so fascinating to me is that he was just always willing to do it for the action. It was not for money. There was a lot of times he could have taken money, and some of it legit and some of it not, and he just wouldn't to stay with the grift.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he gets the 10 grand from the princess, and he doesn't bail. He gets her to D.C.
I said I would let you meet the president.
Gets her the meeting with the president. And, like, what does that say to you about what all of us can actually do?
If you put your mind to it, you can accomplish anything.
And I mean, this is a month of attention that this guy paid.
It's also like a much simpler, different time, you know. Used to, you know.
People still crash White House parties,
Well,
bro.
I mean,
Yeah.
It is still a thing.
People today, they make the fake website. They think about there is still these thoughts of how would someone look me up? How do I cover my tracks?
Right.
Yeah.
And so there's the fake website. There's the
BigDickReviews.org. Oh, it's from the first search result. Huh.
yeah. You see that? There's the phone number that goes to another phone that they have,
right.
and they say, "Oh, Tommy, yeah, he's all right."
Yeah, this guy, I mean, he was really just into, the ride, and like there was never any like long-term scam. He would go back to a Brooklyn apartment at the end of it. It wasn't like one of these things where it was just like faking himself into the role for permanent.
Right. It was always a role for him.
Yeah.
What the fuck do you think that is, man? Is it just like, it's not going to be entertaining if I'm the same role every day and I have to be different ones?
Yeah, maybe that's the type of challenge he was looking for.
Right?
Who knows? It's very,
Well, what was the?
I mean, as opposed to like just assuming someone's identity entirely.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, like we did Cassie Chadwick, right?
Right.
She faked like she was a rich person and she was just a total scam artist. But it carried her through staying rich in prison.
Yeah.
And that was her game, was just to stay wealthy and comfortable, right? But this guy is just like,
I'll go back to my
no, I'm done
shithole.
with that. Yeah, I'll go back to my shithole.
He's a real artist.
Yeah. That's I mean,
It
that's the
kind
thing.
of is,
Yeah.
man. It really kind of is.
I'd buy it.
It's like,
I mean, he figured out his thing.
yeah, and then what? He fucking dies in a fucking, like, a hotel.
Well, I mean,
What?
that was his. He wasn't. Whenever all of these jobs he took, he followed it through until he got caught. He just got caught with a bullet this time.
Yeah, I think that is almost just kind of like one of those things where it's like, he's like, all right, everybody knows I'm only me and definitely me now. Like, I'm famously me.
Right? Yeah.
I'm so famously not anybody else but me that now I guess I just got to be me.
Yeah.
And now I guess in my 70th year, I'm going to foil a hotel robbery
I mean,
and get shot doing it?
That's a good way to go out, considering.
Damn, 70-year-old man
Yeah.
overpowering somebody with a gun. That's pretty impressive.
Well, he was overpowered by the bullet in the end, but
Yeah.
Well,
Man versus bullet.
But he stopped the robbery. He was a hero.
He did die a hero. This man on cop was like, this guy really sucked. Man, I know all about this guy.
but I'll be goddamned if he didn't save the mind and the lives of 15 other civilians.
Like he really totally gave it up for him.
Yeah.
He's like, fuck.
I mean, I have to wonder what his childhood was like to even.
They give you so little on the
even to
childhood,
think.
other than that he was born in Brooklyn and just wanted to be a doctor, and his parents did not have the means to afford him to be an esteemed,
Right.
whatever. And so then he just starts pretending to be.
Hey, it works
Doctors,
a little bit.
a lot of naval officers, sometimes foreign dignitaries, but mainly staying in those three: doctor, foreign dignitary, or a military officer.
What is the job today that you say that people wouldn't really know?
U.S. ambassador to Ukraine.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, someone's got
Or
to fill
the
that.
EU.
Anybody in the Trump administration.
Yeah.
Been on the job about 2 weeks.
Yeah, exactly.
If I put my cards right, I got another week. Hi, I'm the press secretary. I have not given one press conference in over a year.
I didn't even take notes.
I'm the Department of Energy guy. 5 years ago, I ran for president and I forgot that I wanted to destroy the Department of Energy.
Good thing I forgot it, because otherwise I wouldn't even run for it.
Yeah, he has, names veering from Weinberg to Wyman. Sometimes it's Ethan Allen Weinberg. Sometimes,
Ethan Allen Mansplack.
So yeah, but it's basically all the same thing. He never really tries to hide it, even when he's actively wanted by the cops and federal authorities.
Shh.
And he never pawns any of his outfits after he's done doing a role. Like, there's none of that shit. He kind of just doesn't hide. He kind of just stays doing the same thing. Stays in the same neighborhood in Brooklyn. It's amazing how he just keeps getting away with it. And then the only time he would go back to jail to be he gets caught or he doesn't go to parole hearings because he's busy
grifting.
Yeah, being,
I'm researching a role. Terribly sorry.
Right.
He's an actor. I mean, so he's kind of like the opposite of Clark Kent in that you open his closet and there's 1,000 different outfits.
Yeah.
You know?
And the stress of it just must be completely insane.
No, but I think it not insane to him because he loved that's.
And he probably
that's
has a pathological absence of worry.
Right, but staying in the same place and all that shit, right? Can you imagine seeing somebody and you'd be like, oh, did I meet you when I was fucking Charles Weinberg? Or do I know you as Stanley Weyman? Or like,
maybe
who am I to you? What do I do? I don't even remember. Like,
but it also kind of sounds like, it was a game. So if someone did say, hey, weren't you that ambassador? He'd be like, many things.
Among other things. Yeah.
Is your cat sick? Because I'm also a vet.
Yeah, there's this whole thing about like how the author of this New Yorker article that I drew a lot from was talking about how like the artist will also try to draw an impersonating like identity with like the pseudonym and stuff and like how like
sure a nom de plume.
Right, because even when they're just doing art, they even still feel like an impersonator.
Right.
And stuff, so it's like easy to sometimes like divvy those things up where they go like, all right, this is me, but this is me as.
It's Garth Brooks, Chris Gaines.
Right. Yes. Very Chris Gaines.
Yeah, I mean, even if you're doing stand-up and you're like, oh, that kind of sounds like a joke that person would do, someone that I've revered.
Right. Yes.
Is it really me?
Yeah.
Yeah, or did I absorb it one night?
I guess I'll go on stage. My name is Home Run now.
Right. And so that was also a thing they talk about in this article where like a lot of like modern composers, for instance, would try to attribute things they didn't want to admit were theirs to past dead composers to be like, oh, this is a newly uncovered thing. And then like in hindsight, people are like, oh no, that was totally this. He's totally lying.
Yeah,
it's
it
like,
sucks. So it's
his
Beethoven.
style and everything. Like this guy was like maybe trying to ape the style of Beethoven or whatever the fuck, but like he just wasn't comfortable enough yet saying this is my piece of work.
Right, and that's an important. You have to be okay with your own failures and accept.
Right, but so many people are not.
Right,
they want to have this practice round, and they're like, "Oh yeah, that was Renoir." What?
The Sound of Paint.
I mean, how much more humiliating is that? It's just to sully some other massively important artist thing rather than your own dumb ass.
You're worried that you suck.
I didn't do that. Mozart really fell off at the end. This shit is embarrassing. But yeah, this guy is like, I mean, he's so fascinating to me because he's just about being an actor.
Yeah, it's for the love of the game.
It's really the role, and he likes doing it, but it's just for the end of the mission, and then it's totally done, and like, a lot of times he gets caught, obviously, or whatever, but like, it was really just about seeing like, how high can I go in this role and get away with it? And if I do, I'll just retire it. If I get caught, I'll go to jail. Who gives a shit? But that is all. There's nothing about really like grifting money, which he could have, and like stowed away for his Brooklyn apartment, all that shit.
He's a purist.
Yeah, it's really artistic.
Yeah,
and
it's
I really respect
pretty
it.
Chris Burden of him.
Yes, it really is. It's very much like the prankster. When is the prank art, and when is the art a prank? You know,
right?
It's not like he pretended to be a judge and send someone to death.
Right.
That would have been a just at 12:59 and 59 seconds, they pull the switch. He's like, it's fucking.
Gotcha.
The governor just called up.
Oh, I'm the governor.
Governor, you're early. Shit.
Yeah, he's just fucking like, this kind of harmless dude that comes in and out of like hugely public life, but stays in his little corner of the world, becomes an old man, dies in this weirdly heroic fashion, but like, why not study how fucking fascinating his pranks are?
Right. Well, it's kind of like a catch me if you can type thing. But he didn't, because it wasn't a ton of money and he didn't defraud the government or anything. They were like, the government didn't think they could use him. You know?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I think even it's Frank Abagnale, right?
Yeah, from Catch Me If You Can.
Yeah, but even he like wanted to like permanently stay hidden in one of those roles. This guy was just like, no, I'm done.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it. It's just, the season's over. Well, I guess
it's like inexplicable.
I'm off Broadway.
Like, I just can't understand how he can come to that.
I love it.
It's crazy.
I mean, a good impersonator.
Yeah, you just do it, and you just. I mean, at some point, is Marcel Marceau? Is he the mime, or is he Marcel Marceau? Right.
Right. Like, can you imagine being an elevator operator in this building that this guy got shot at, and like hearing this guy's stories?
He comes down and he's wearing a different outfit this week.
You know what I mean? Like, and
today I'm the Sultan of Brunei.
Like you hear the different shit from this guy, and you go like, "Do you guys know what's up with fucking Stanley over there? Because it turns out like he was a total maniac." And they're like, "Oh yeah, he went to jail a lot."
Yeah. Well, you seen his fez?
Yeah, see his golden braid fez when he inspected a naval ship. What are you getting out of that? It's just the juice.
Yeah, and knowing that you can do it, like it's proving something to yourself.
Yeah,
but it's really going full method.
Yeah,
it's like, I'm this guy.
Isn't it also kind of tearing down the elites too? To be like, no, I'm gonna inspect
anybody
this
can
shit,
do it.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna fucking take them all out to the Hotel Astor.
Yeah,
I love that.
And I'm not gonna pay for anything either.
Yeah. I believe the country of Romania has the tab on this one, which I've never been to.
Let me draw you their dollars.
I just made that up. Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful. It's like, Rudolph Valentino's widow just not even fucking having a single problem with him, being like, he's the best doctor I've ever had. The man knows nothing about medicine.
He knows about me, damn it.
He knows my body.
Yes.
God. Jesus.
Pretty good stuff.
You like that sort of shit?
A little Weinberg action.
You like that shit?
I do. I love somebody pretending to be someone they're not.
Oh, God.
And really just kind of...
waiting in.
Yeah, I'm gonna ingratiate myself. I'm really gonna put down some roots in this level of society, this upper middle class.
Without hiding my face.
Oh, no. My face is my mask.
I mean, he's got pictures next to the Princess Fatima, just like in full uniform and shit. And like people later on are just like, oh yeah, this guy's just totally full of nonsense. Like, he's got like this beautiful, like regal uniform on, like just total bullshit. Goes to the White House. What?
Yeah, he's the president.
Oh yeah, hi. Yeah, I'm famous.
During the war too. Like, it's
there's so many men not there.
It's no joke.
I gotta. If you want to take a quick little break, I can bring a little small shit.
Can we do that?
Yeah.
All right. Just as a final little thing about the Weyman character.
Mm-hmm.
They said that like they thought that this guy was such a like master of disguise and like a completely underground phenomenon. Like they never thought to look for him at his house.
They didn't think he actually had a real house.
They thought he would be so like deeply ensconced in the like underworld that he would. But meanwhile, like his neighbors talked about, we got used to seeing him go in the house one way and out another way, like just as a totally different person. Like it just became completely normal.
I love that.
Did he ever forge any documents? Because that's like
he did.
that's another level of crime.
It
right?
is, and I don't know how, if it was up to somebody else's work, but it definitely seems that the vast majority of his con was just social.
That's not so bad.
No. Doesn't seem like the worst guy.
Now you bring ink and paper into it. Now it's like federal.
That's a problem.
Fuck you in the ass.
Yeah,
prison.
and people were almost charmed by how brazen he was. They were like, look at this guy showing up as the fucking, like an admiral in the Navy. Like, look at him. Like, the cops arresting him. They were like,
Pretty good stuff.
look
pal.
at this fucking guy. Like, when he would show up, like, they were like, God.
Thought my brother had to be a retard. Not exactly a lightweight here.
Matt, you got some goods?
I got a little thing for you guys. Here's a man who I don't really not a big fan of. I don't know. It's not because the money. It's because the people what they do with the money. But here's a millionaire that had some fun with it. And this guy, his name was James Marion West Jr. He was the son of James Marion West, one of Texas's first millionaire oil men. And so he was born in 1903, September 26, 1903. And at that time, his dad was probably already a millionaire by then. And so immediately he's just in the life, right?
Monopoly hat, monocle.
Silver spoon in mouth.
Yeah. Full of coke.
Duh.
He even goes to a university. He graduates from Southwestern University in Texas, which is a university that his dad funded. Basically like every Ivy League school now.
Right. I built a school for you to go to.
And then you won't fail.
I've populated it with thousands of actors.
There you go. He also graduates from UT Austin. But he doesn't really do anything with his life other than he gets well known and gets his nickname as Silver Dollar Jim.
Oh.
Because all he does with his life, other than spend his money, is he's obsessed with silver dollars. Everywhere he goes, he has he has pockets sewn specifically into his clothes to hold piles of silver dollars.
Oof.
And
sounds like an indoor kid, all right.
Yeah. I mean, and he's eccentric in other ways. He builds this mansion, and the mansion it's a 6-car garage, and only has 5 cars. So he tells his secretary to go buy him a Cadillac to make sure the garage has enough cars to. He also has a bunch of guns, 30 to 35 guns.
Gotta have the guns.
Yep. He's a regular at the casino in town, and basically he just everywhere he goes, he throws silver dollars around.
Ah.
If a valet brings him a car, he gives the valet silver dollars. If he goes to a restaurant, he tips in silver dollars. If he's bored, he takes the silver dollars and throws them on the ground because he wants to see people chase after him.
What is the value of the silver dollar?
It's $1.
$1. But I'm saying for inflation, I guess.
Oh, a dollar's a dollar. So whatever a paper dollar was worth back then.
That's what I'm saying. What is a paper dollar worth back then? Like, how much money are these guys
What's a
chasing
dollar?
after?
What's the dollar? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean...
What year is this?
This is between... So he was born in 1903, so this is between, 1923 and 19...
Okay, so a dollar is no joke.
Right. And,
It's no motherfucking...
We didn't have the
Bitcoin ATMs.
The silver... The history of the silver dollar...
I like to do ATM with my Bitcoin.
My Bitcoin.
We even had that's very good. We even had a gold dollar briefly in the 1800s.
Did we?
Yes.
No, that was too flashy for us.
Yeah. In the Eisenhower era, we eventually, after this guy dies in 57, there are the silver dollars reintroduced in the 70s, I believe.
Yes.
But there's like 3 or 4 hanging around, different types hanging around by then. And it never says, nothing I read says what exactly silver dollar he had. But he was just, he would throw parties, and if he wasn't having fun, or even if he was having fun, I guess, he would take a bunch of silver dollars and throw them in the pool just to see people dive after him.
Whoa.
Oh, man. It's like the banquet of chestnuts.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. But he's this richest man in town. He built a radio tower on his property.
As rich people tend to do.
Yeah, and he would just play tons of music. He would play music all night. His neighbors hated him. He'd play music from speakers.
Oh, God.
Just all over the yard. He'd also play... This is from TexasCoopPower.com. Apparently, he would also play... At night, he would play the sound of trains passing. Because they didn't have any trains running through the town.
Oh, it's reassuring to me.
Yeah, it was very calming.
Just like home.
Yeah.
Here it comes. Wow, it's getting closer.
Whoa.
He became known kind of worldwide. An Irish boy wrote to him saying that he wrote a letter, and then Silver Dollar Jim was known throughout town as Silver Dollar Jim, and this Irish boy, 8-year-old Irish boy, apparently he wrote a letter to Houston. This is in Houston, and he said it was addressed to, quote, any millionaire.
Pony up. What gives?
Yeah, that's basically
Yours truly.
And he wrote to him. He said he wrote to any millionaire asking for a cowboy outfit. So Silver Dollar Jim,
A boy in Ireland.
boy in Ireland, wrote to Houston to any millionaire asking for a cowboy outfit.
Yeah. You know who the real hero is there is the Postal Service.
Yes, exactly.
It's like, I know a millionaire. I'll give this to you, young Irish boy. Any millionaire in Houston, I know just the one.
Just you wait.
He does things a little bit differently.
He apparently, so he sent the kid a whole Western outfit, and he got some pictures back, and those pictures were he kept them forever.
Aw.
He also loved, with his guns, he also loved law enforcement, and he became an honorary sheriff of the town. And he would ride behind the cops when they were at night. He had a guy that was assigned to ride with him.
Right, he had a bodyguard on the ride along.
Yeah.
What a nerd.
Yeah.
What a total nerd.
I'd like to play cops and robbers, but from the safety of the shotgun area.
Lieutenant A.C. Martindale, that was his uniform partner. So they would ride around in the middle of the night, and if there was a call, they would both show up. And he would play sheriff. I mean, there's a story from maybe 2 or 3 years ago where some guy was doing this and his gun went off and shot somebody because he was playing sheriff because he had a ton of money. So this stuff still happens.
They still get honorary sheriff hoods.
Oh yeah, if you have enough money, yeah.
Jesus Christ. I killed him.
Yeah.
Well, I am the sheriff. Yikes. That's terrifying.
He had over $100 million. I mean, most of it was probably inherited, but he also got into the oil business himself.
Oh, no.
He had a fleet of over 30 Cadillacs. He had a $500,000 castle.
Ooh.
At one point, he really got into the color blue. So he had all of his clothes changed to blue and all of his Cadillacs changed to blue.
Oh, man.
Blue is dope.
I mean, it's a primary color and all
Blue
that.
is cool.
Have you seen blue? It's good.
I mean, it looks great on you know who. David Icke did the same thing. Remember that? Mm-hmm. David Icke dressed solely in turquoise for a few years back in the day.
Yeah. Was that before he went full lizard?
I think that was before he went naked on the cover of his book.
Yeah.
Remember that one? And then, of course, Picasso had his blue stage.
He did.
Eiffel 65 was blue, dabu dee, dabu die.
Without a doubt.
If I was green, I would die.
Without a doubt.
So blue's a color. Primary.
With a storied history.
One time when he was copping around, some kids in Halloween costumes pretended to round him up, and he didn't take it kindly, so he shot tear gas at him.
Nice.
Yeah.
The kids.
Yeah.
Oh, God. And kids already cry pretty easily.
They cried that night.
Yeah, they certainly
Big time.
did. This is from Carl Siafakis. This is where I got the beginning of all of this.
Carl Hungus?
His American Eccentrics book, which is a good starting point for stuff, if not thorough. And he uses the phrase in this profile. A magazine once ran a story about him, which is, if you know that, you could give me the magazine.
Yeah.
I couldn't find it.
That was all he said?
Yeah, it's a book from like 1930.
A magazine once wrote a story about
That
him.
magazine? Me.
Yes, exactly. But according to Carl C. Vegas, he once went into a restaurant and he brought his own vat of butter that he made on his farm, and then he liked the service there, so he tipped the waitress $80 silver that he stacked on the table and he had in his pockets.
That's hot.
Yeah,
Man, we're carrying around all that change.
it's gotta be. It's not
Clink,
cold in
clink,
there.
clink. That's heavy.
But you know,
He's tipping just to lighten the load.
I mean,
Yeah,
yeah.
but he likes it. You put his butter on that toast? His butter? His good butter?
And if he's not happy, he's gonna throw it on the ground, throw all the dollars on the ground until
You pick them up.
until people fighting for him makes him happy.
Yeah.
I heard the Ooze It or Goose It Patreon preview. Where Aaron talked about toasting up a nice whole bread.
Get yourself a nice loaf
He
of...
goes, maybe even a sourdough. and he goes, and I'll just spread Matt Russo's voice all across.
Come on.
Now that's good. That's good introing.
I should revisit that one.
Is it the be-all, end-all, Ken-doll? I doubt it.
No, when did you come up with that? The be-all, end-all, Kendall?
Ken?
I also came up super stoned on That Weed, which we both enjoyed recently. Where I came up with Cyborg, the human Sibian.
I told you to and remind me tomorrow to explain this. And you're like, dude, are you high?
And he was.
Maybe I was.
Maybe. I'll never tell.
You just told.
Shit.
Apparently, on his he was the only Texas Ranger. I mean, he was an honorary Texas Ranger, not a sheriff. He was the only Texas Ranger with a diamond studded badge. Because he couldn't fit a silver dollar on it, so he put a bunch of diamonds on it.
Diamonds?
Yeah.
That is the tackiest shit
Imagine
of
getting
all
arrested
time.
by that guy. Oh, man.
Oh, God.
I'm just talking about Shaft. Sounds like some Shaft to do.
He died of heart disease, as you do, in 1957. And here's a picture of him for you lads. Hold up the camera very briefly.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, he looks exactly like what
Yeah.
you think
Yeah.
he would look like. Fat man,
Sturdy.
Yeah, holding the gun,
Bottom heavy.
cigar, 15-gallon hat. And when he died, they went into his basement and they found barrels of silver dollars
Oh, man.
worth over $2 million today. Just
Holy shit.
barrels of silver dollars.
Do you think he just hated the banks, or do you think he just loves silver dollars?
I think he loves...
I think he just he grew up rich. He probably loved money. To the point like another level. I mean, I like money, but when you grow up and surrounded by
It's a part of your identity.
Yeah.
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 I think it was like the video game he lived in.
Yeah, I mean, that's basically, yeah. It's the exact opposite of the last story almost.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, he paid to fake it,
Yeah.
and then he became it.
It's almost weird that you would think he wouldn't enjoy it because he was so surrounded by it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I don't think he didn't enjoy it.
No, he definitely enjoyed
He definitely
it.
did.
But you would think maybe somebody that grew up with it would not enjoy it because they were so used to it.
Right.
But also, it's a fucking human playground, so of course you would enjoy
Yeah,
it.
especially in the 20s. Gilded it.
In the 40s, 50s, and yeah. I mean, Houston was known as it was like the city of wealth. Houston was known as at that time.
oil
yeah.
boom, yeah.
What year did he die in?
57. So he lived 54 years. That same A magazine that Safakis mentions, apparently, the article was entitled "How to Have Fun with $100 Million."
Jesus, how to?
Yeah, I mean, it's just you
Yeah,
never know.
Just
until
go
you have
out.
it.
Just start.
But apparently, in that same chapter, there was another magazine that he got really angry at the magazine because the author wrote that he almost felt, by the end of the interview, he almost felt bad for $100 million. Because I don't know, maybe things weren't that great.
Huh.
But
You just thought the way in which it was used was kind of like cheap.
yeah.
Yikes. That's fucking dark.
Is that, it's one of those things like, if you have all that money,
Right.
what's the least shitty way to give it out?
You can see the dumbest ways in which it can be spent.
I mean, throwing it
And
on the
then
Brewster's
ground.
Millions.
Yeah. And it's not charity, and it's not
It's not charity if they
child
fight
health,
over it. Yeah.
and it's not anything. And you just go like, oh yeah, this is just a dude buying a whole ton of fucking poppers
Yeah. Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah, no, that's it.
But like something that dumb where you go like, oh yeah, I mean, whatever you want is what you can do. There's no like quotient of like things you have to spend on.
Imagine converting, at the time, $250,000 into silver dollars, just so you can have it in your basement. So before you go out every day, you can fill your pockets with it.
Barrels.
In barrels.
That's like almost Scrooge McDuck level.
That
Yeah,
is
absolutely.
very Scrooge McDuck level.
You should just poured it out.
But also, you
Took
know,
the
if
Swan
anybody's
dive.
doing anything Scrooge McDuck, you know it's in Texas. You
Yes,
know
yes.
for sure.
Yeah.
Because they don't trust the banks. And they're after their money. And they're just like, I'm a fucking millionaire. And I'm just
keep
going to
my
keep
money
it in the
in
basement. That is dope, Matt. I really like that a lot.
I like a guy with a weird collection, I'll tell you that.
You like that shit?
I do. I like people that pay in $2 bills. I like stuff like that.
Yeah?
Like that.
Weirdos? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like that.
Guys, next time we're going to be here is the 100th episode.
Oh!
We have a really fun one.
You ready?
Oh, man.
Oh, boy.
It's going to be such a
It's a
big
Christmas miracle for you,
Yeah.
listener.
Even though it's a week early, that's a miracle. Also,
Yeah.
it's great.
That's why
Also, it's brilliant.
we
like,
have
like a shining star.
Should we say anything about it? No. Okay. Then I won't.
You gotta
Then I
wait till
won't.
Christmas morning.
Special guests, special angels, big long episode. Guys, you're going to love it. I'm going to say goodnight. My name is John Fahey.
I'm Aaron Pita.
Matt Brousseau.
Good night, everybody. We love you.
Good night.
Starburns Audio.